Rocket science. A term we all use to describe something incredibly difficult. Just look at a rocket engine. Stare at it too long, and your brain might melt. Trying to grasp all the concepts involved in rocket science can be incredibly intimidating, and yet rockets were designed and virtually perfected in an era when computers were the size of a room, and most calculations were done with paper, pencil, and a slide rule.
Touchdown confirmed.
The sheer brilliance of the people who have figured all this stuff out blows my mind. I, on the other hand, am a prolific college dropout. My name's Tim Dodd, but I became known as the Everyday Astronaut when I randomly bought a Russian spacesuit as a joke, took pictures of myself with it in just about every imaginable situation all around the world in a viral photo series. And in the making of that series, I fell head over heels in love with spaceflight and space exploration. When I started the photo series in 2014, I could barely tell you the difference between a space shuttle and a Saturn V, but my appreciation and curiosity for the subject grew into an obsession. Before you knew it, all I wanted to do was learn more and more. And the more I learned, the more I wanted to share what was making me so excited. But as someone who dropped out of college and has no technical background or degree, I really felt unqualified for the job of explaining rocket science to anyone. But the fact of the matter is, if I can learn this stuff, anyone can. So now, through endless curiosity, an absurd amount of questions, and very little sleep, I obsessively strive to actually grasp all the complexities of rocket science.
Maybe this works now? Let me know. I have no idea. Is this working? Blink twice if it's working. Okay. Hi. Just, casual. Just had to restart OBS. Thanks, OBS. Nothing else changed. It was just... And let me do some explanations here. First off, sorry. Hi, it's me, Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut. Second off, it's going to be a mess. This is going to be a mess of a live stream already for multiple reasons. Number one, my ONT, which is the box that takes fiber optic and turns it into Ethernet, is going crazy right now. And it's been going crazy kind of for the past couple days. Before that, I'm actually sitting on literally some of the fastest internet some of the fastest internet in the world. I'm actually sitting on a 10 gig line now. But unfortunately, with that cutting edge technology comes stuff that's a little less proven. So my ONT is acting up. Service is coming tomorrow morning, unfortunately, to replace the unit. But what's happening is I normally get 7 gigs down, 7 gigs up. It's insane. I'm basically plugged into the internet. I have the internet in my studio now. And unfortunately, because that ONT is acting up, the data is terrible. And so what I'm actually doing is I'm currently running it off a hotspot, which is even worse probably, but it's at least a little bit more consistent. So I do apologize. There will be some dropped frames. I'm trying my best here. Also, another apology before we start this. I don't hardly know anything about this particular vehicle that much. The H-2A, Mitsubishi Heavy's H-2A is a little bit of an anomaly for me. I have never really studied it. I tell you guys all the time that I don't want to do launches that I, don't have a lot of... I don't want to stream on something that I don't know much about. And this is one of those times. So I'm going to be learning with you guys. I'll tell you what I know about the vehicle, what I know about the mission. And yeah, hopefully this works out okay. But just take my apology now. If you're watching, you're a trooper, because it's not going to be my best live stream, which sucks because I literally have $2,500 worth of networking gear in this new studio and upgraded everything in the past month and a half of my life. And yeah, and here we are with more problems than ever. And just like always. I'm trying to like do the right thing and get all of the good stuff. But for some reason, I can't even get like like now YouTube's not working because thanks YouTube. That's what I wanted. Anyway, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ignore that for a second. I'll try to get to you guys here as soon as I can. It's just that right now everything's like going insane, like I said. But what we're going to do is we're going to go to our little website called Pre-Launch Previews, and we're going to be talking about what the mission is today. It's, believe it or not, the mission is not me floundering around for a solid hour. No, see, look at what I'm doing. This is what you made me. Okay, 1 second here. I'm going to get back into the live dashboard for you guys so I can actually see your comments. And again, thank you for bearing with my absolute absurdities in life. I knew as soon as it's so weird. OBS was like, yeah, you're streaming. Everything's normal. But yeah. Okay, so if you guys ever want to know anything about any upcoming missions, you can go to everydayastronaut.com/prelaunch preview, and we will give you guys the rundown on what's exactly happening. So, for instance, this mission, if you go to everydayastronaut.com, you click on pre-launch previews, you can go and click on the launch that's coming up. This is Al-Amal, otherwise known as Hope. And this is a mission to Mars. So let's go through this here. So this is going to be taking off at 21:58 and 14 seconds UTC on July 19th, 2020. So that's just barely going to sneak out here. I guess, but where it's taking off, it's actually July 20th because we'll get to that. The mission name, this is Emirates Mars Mission 4, which is the United Arab Emirates first Mars probe, or UAE's first Mars probe. So this is their first interplanetary mission. Extremely exciting stuff. Yeah. The launch provider for this is Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. So Mitsubishi, the same people that used to make one, well, they still do. The Evo used to be one of my all-time favorite cars. The Lancer Evo. The Evo, 6, 7, 8, back in the day playing Gran Turismo. Oh, that was such an awesome car. Yeah, that same company-ish. The Heavy Industries version of it, they do make rockets, and they actually make an awesome rocket, and we'll talk more about that here in a second. But the customer for this is UAE Space Agency. This, again, is, which is pretty cool. So, let's see here. The launch location is, the rocket, this is called the H-2A. This is the 202 configuration, and the H-2A is this kind of the second generation. It's the rehash of the H-2 rocket that originally launched, I believe, in the 90s. Japan decided they were going to try and compete in the commercial space sector. They built their own rocket, and it did pretty well at first, and then ended up having 2 back-to-back failures and made them rethink the whole thing and simplify it a little bit, which that's one of those things when a lot of people ask me questions. I do a podcast each week called Why Don't They Just? It's called Our Ludicrous Future. Every week, if you guys want more content from me, watch Our Ludicrous Future or listen on whatever podcast you're on, but we do have it right here on YouTube. But one of the sections we do is Why Don't They Just? And a lot of questions about rockets is, why don't they just do this? Why don't they just, double the engines and blah, blah, blah. A lot of rockets is just getting it simple enough to work because it's really difficult to make work. And as DB Explorer says, Mitsubishi does a lot of aerospace. A lot of the JASDF fighters are made. But yeah, so sometimes just the best thing you can do is simplify something. And that's something that they had to do with this particular rocket. They had to simplify it because it wasn't performing. Because if it doesn't make it to space and doesn't put its payload into orbit, it fails. And you just lost $200 million of your rocket and hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever on your payload as well. So having it just simply work is more important sometimes than squeaking out those extra 2% of performance or whatever sometimes the trade-off is. So that's just something to keep in mind here. Valuable lesson from this particular rocket right here. Launch location is LAY1, the Yoshinobu launch complex in Tanegashima Space Center. I'm sorry. The probe itself weighs 1,350 kilograms. It's around 3,000 pounds. That's actually a pretty good sized probe. This is a beefy rocket. This rocket's actually quite capable. The satellites are going to enter Mars orbit in February 2021. This is the year of Mars, ladies and gentlemen. This is a Mars transfer window. They're only every 26 months, so every just over 2 years, we have a Mars transfer window. And during that window, we like to sling spacecraft at it. So this is really exciting because, we haven't really done this since 2018. And here we are looking to sling. There's going to be 3 for sure Mars missions this year, hopefully still. So this is super, super, super cool. Yeah. So that's where it's going. It's going to Mars orbit. This will be the 5th mission for UAE Space Agency, the 42nd launch of the H-2A rocket. And here is that rocket. This looks a lot like a Delta IV medium. Ironically, actually, it looks a lot like it. It has a little bit bigger solid rocket boosters than the Delta IV medium did. I believe it's a little bit higher performance as well. 53 meters tall. That is a little bit taller than, say, the first stage of the Falcon 9 rocket. It's about as tall as the first and a good chunk of the second stage, but the Falcon 9 is 70 meters tall, and at 4 meters in diameter, it is a lot wider than the Falcon 9, which is not a lot wider, but a decent amount wider. But don't forget this, I guess I shouldn't say don't forget because I haven't mentioned it, but it does run on hydrogen. So the tanks, although they are a lot bigger in size, there's probably a lot less as far as actual fuel because hydrogen is so lightweight and it's so not dense that it takes huge tankage in order to contain, the relative amount compared to, say, RP1 or methane. So the tanks are just physically huge. And then, of course, it has 2 cool solid rocket boosters. I still think solid rocket boosters, although they're the worst for our environment, as I talked about in a video about how bad do rockets pollute. Solids are the worst, but there's still something just kind of cool about having basically giant, bottle rockets that you just light. But this is the Hope probe. It is awesome. Pretty decent size. Like I said, it's a pretty hefty thing to be launching out there. So thanks to Ryan Weber in our Discord for helping write this article. And bear with me as, like I said, as I struggle through this particular launch because, like I said, this is outside of my wheelhouse, but I hope you guys like just kind of learning with me as well. I do have, I guess the one thing that I have going for me is I at least have the reminder of Mars's atmosphere. So they're going to study Mars's atmosphere. It's an orbiter. And I do have that on this shirt. These are friendly reminders for you guys, too, about the gravity on Mars and the atmospheric composition. And a friendly reminder, not suitable for EVA use, life support required. This is my new favorite shirt, Future Martian Society, with Arcadia Planatia on it and the actual landing coordinates for Starship. This is a new shirt that we have in our website. If you guys want to help support what I do, consider going to shop.everydayastronaut.com. Then go ahead and click on, you can see some of the new shirts. We do have a few new things coming out this week, hopefully. We're trying. And things have been nutty ever since the whole pandemic thing. Seems like a lot of our suppliers and a lot of things we're trying to get our hands on got kind of stuck. So, yeah. But check this out. This is the new shirt. It does have graphics on the back, too, as well. So it's an awesome shirt. So you can get that while we've got them in stock. Shop.everydayastronaut.com. And that helps me continue to do what I do. So I'm going to actually start pulling up their stream and have it on because they're getting darn close. It seems like potentially, did we lose their stream? Because I don't see it anymore. Discord, you guys mind finding me the live stream and I'll just throw it up there because it seems to not be going. But before we get to that, why don't I real quick do a quick little rundown again on the H-2A rocket that's launching this. Since this is, again, most of this is for me just to learn, so I know for sure. But it's a pretty decent size vehicle capable of taking 10 to 15,000 kilograms. Thank you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you, Discord. What would I do without you? Literally, I don't know. And I messed that up. How did I mess that up? Copy link. I'm working on pulling this up here for you guys. We will have this in the background here in a second. Okay, so it looks like they are live with this. So I'll kind of keep this over here, and maybe I will be plucky. And also, I do want to read this though, because this is, like I said, this is the stuff that I like too. So payload mass 10,000 to 15,000 kilograms, so 10 to 15 metric tons to low Earth orbit. That's pretty good. I mean, that's about what a expendable Falcon 9 can do. So, or not expendable, but a reusable Falcon 9 is capable of around those similar performance characteristics. So, yeah, not bad. And the first stage, like we mentioned, the boosters, there's up to 4 boosters. They're HTPB, which is the common rocket fuel. I don't even want to remember trying to pronounce that, but the first stage is, again, a liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. A nice 440 seconds of specific impulse. That is fantastic. I assume that's in a vacuum, though, because ain't nobody getting 440 seconds at sea level. But the second stage, then, is also equally impressive. With 447 seconds, also running liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. But this engine, one of the things, this is a really interesting engine, the LE5. If I remember right, this is one of the only motors of its size, or one of the only motors that's a bleed cycle. What is it? A tap off bleed. Where is it? It does have capable of multiple restarts thanks to spark ignition. That is awesome. Where is that? Now you guys see why I don't often just stream a vehicle that I don't know right off the top of my head, because I end up just sitting here reading Wikipedia for you guys. Like, check this out. Do you guys know it is an expander bleed cycle? There we go. Which I believe the only other one that I can think of that it is an expander bleed cycle is the BE3 and the BE3U, or at least the BE3U is an expander bleed cycle, which is where you basically take the excess heat from your regenerative cooling. When you're cooling your rocket engine, you have to run your liquid fuel through it, or sometimes your liquid oxygen through the walls of the rocket engine to keep it from melting itself. Well, when you do that, it actually heats up, it expands, it produces a lot of thermal energy, basically. And when you can take that and you can actually have that expansion and that heating up of the liquid and turning it into a gas, that can spin the turbine, which then runs your pumps. It's really confusing, because then you're like, well, how do you start the engine if the engine requires the heat to actually run? Like, how do you, and that stuff still is boggling to me a little bit. We're going to be doing a video here soon about how do you start a rocket engine. And yeah, but let's get into the actual launch here, because, it's coming up already in 7 minutes and 30 seconds. I have a lot of things from you guys, including Epic Space Models, who is now a member. Thank you so much. Yeah. So let's listen in here to this and see if we can learn a little bit more about this launch as well. This will be one of the first launches, I think, where the countdown will actually be in Arabic, which is awesome. I mean, that's where we'll hear it in Arabic, and I think that's pretty exciting. So let's listen in here. You guys don't have you guys don't have audio, do you? I'll go ahead and translate for you guys here, because it seems like it's acting up on my end again. Another error for me. But they aren't really talking right now, and I'm sorry that the stream is dying. Sorry. Sorry guys, like I said, I know it's bad. I know that my coverage is really bad, and you don't even have audio. This is just great. This is just great. This is exactly what I wanted to do today, is just have a failure of a live stream. I'm sorry, guys. I probably shouldn't even stream when it's bad, because then people aren't going to trust that it's ever going to be good. And that's important. I want my stuff to be the highest of quality, and it's currently not. But regardless, let me still just keep talking you guys through this, because it is all currently in Japanese. But unfortunately, I will not have... Yeah, it is beyond potato quality. Man, why is it so bad? Yeah, those frames weren't good frames. There's a reason I'm not sending them to you guys. Don't worry. They're just frames. Okay, so I'm going to be telling you guys kind of what's going on here. Because, yeah, most of this is currently in Japanese. That is a beautiful image, though. I love that. But again, so this rocket in particular, liquid hydrogen is really, really difficult to work with. One of the things that's so hard, again, because it's so undense or so lightweight, it wants to sneak out through every tiny little crack. So it's actually really common to have hydrogen-powered vehicles scrub. Like fingers crossed. I mean, I hope I didn't just jinx it now, but frankly, it's just really hard to contain. You'll notice the Delta IV Heavy oftentimes, and previously the Delta IV, oftentimes would have scrubs just because there'd be some tiny little leak in some tiny little valve. And unless they could get it worked out just by opening and closing it a bunch, that oftentimes a launch could be scrubbed because of that. It's really really hard to do. So it's impressive that they actually went with hydrogen. And again, it's cryogenic. Hydrogen, liquid hydrogen, is unbelievably cold. It's like it's shockingly close to absolute zero, and it's really hard to work with. So you have, again, something that's unbelievably cold that can freeze your liquid oxygen completely solid. It can turn it into solid chunks of oxygen, which no thank you. And so you also have to insulate it a ton. So you'll notice that hydrogen-powered vehicles have, typically it ends up being this orange insulation just because that's what they found is the best insulation, and it happens to be orange. Of course, the first 2 space shuttles, they painted the external fuel tanks white, and then they realized, well, that's actually, they thought it would maybe hold the insulation on a little bit better, but come to find out it was actually preventing it from staying on very well, and some of the paint itself was flaking off with the chunks of the foam, which of course plagued the space shuttle in general. But it also added a lot of weight, and they realized, well, we just can save weight by not painting it. So yeah, let's see here. So yeah, that's the main engine down there. It looks a lot like the RS-25 and or like the RS-27A. And again, the main engine, let me read here for you guys a little bit. It is the LE7A, and this is an improvement from the, you guessed it, LE7, and it's staged combustion cycle, and which is, again, extremely impressive. It's produced in Japan, which again, staged combustion is extremely hard. So, but it is made in collaboration with the National Space Development Agency and the NAL, the Aerospace Engineering Laboratory, and it's made by Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. So yeah, stage combustion, again, very, very difficult to do. It has regenerative cooling, so it's got a similar nozzle again to the RS-25. And when it's liquid hydrogen, you really, again, because it's so undense, you have to have multiple stages of your pump in order to pressurize the hydrogen high enough to get up to operating temperatures. It's extremely, extremely difficult to do. And so it's impressive that for pretty much one of their first goes at orbital rockets, they went with stage combustion liquid hydrogen. I mean, that is impressive stuff. Yeah. We might have a little bit better data here in just a second. One of my friends is coming over with a different hotspot. I'm going to, hang on 1 second here. I'm going to make sure the door's unlocked. We're getting close, I think. It's all in Japanese. Okay. I don't know. My countdown clock might be a little bit off because it's based on a web timer here. So about 1 minute. So I think my timer's a little bit ahead. So we're going to go ahead and cut it and just sit here hoping that we figure it out. There is the sound suppression system getting ready. So it is getting close here. All right. I wish I spoke Japanese so I could tell you. Oh, there we go. Those are the rofies they're called, which are to make sure there's no excess hydrogen built up. There we go. Main engine ignition, and dang, there it goes. All right. So again, it's riding. Those solid rocket boosters are required to get this thing off the pad. Again, I'm sorry that there's no audio for you guys. Look at that gravity turn already. And you can see the trail. So the hydrogen engine itself won't have any exhaust really. It'll just be water vapor, and that's it. Literally just water vapor. But those solid rocket boosters, you do see a lot of exhaust plume there, and that will linger. Look at that max Q already. That thing is just screaming, and I don't always love when a tracking camera is shaky, but it makes it. You can just feel how fast this thing is with riding those solid rocket boosters. The solid rocket boosters are really what help it get itself off the pad, because the hydrogen engine being that overexpanded wouldn't produce very much thrust off the pad. So they strap on some solid rocket boosters to get it off, and they get it out of there in a hurry, as you can tell. This thing is heading to Mars. This is awesome. I love it. So get ready. The SRBs don't last very long, so they're going to be ejected here pretty soon. So you can expect to see both of them deploy off the sides, which is going to be awesome. So get ready here. I think it should be just about any second. We should see the SRB separation, and then we will see the two boosters separate. It looks like that is going to be it pretty soon there. They have burned out, and they're probably waiting until the aerodynamic pressure is okay to jettison them. Similar, there they go. Nice. Looks like a good, clean separation. Awesome. All right, it's still going. So this center core now is just the only thing powering it. Again, it's extremely, extremely highly efficient engine. 440 seconds of specific impulse is right up there with some of the best engines in the world. Stage combustion cycle for the win. Man, that thing just... So now notice there is literally almost no visible plume because it's just water vapor pouring out of the back of the rocket, because that's what happens when you burn hydrogen and oxygen. You get water. So there we go. And man... That's crazy. And this thing is on its way to Mars. Isn't that just... I love that we just have this little window of time, 26 months, when we just sling as many things as we can at Mars. I really think the next window... Oh, man. Do you guys think Elon Musk really wants to get Starship to Mars ASAP? Do you think there's any chance that they can get a Starship to Mars already? That means they have to go... Not only do they have to solve the orbital aspect, they have to get Starship Orbital, which, as we've seen from the past year, how hard it is to actually produce a properly working Starship version. Not only do they have to get it orbital, they also have to figure out the in-orbit refueling to get to Mars. And man, that is that's going to be very difficult. Again, if you guys, by the way, if you guys are tuning in right now, I apologize for this stream. I'm riding the struggle bus. It's not a great stream. We're having lots of issues over here, but tomorrow it will be fixed for my coverage of SpaceX. And yeah, it'll be much, much, much better. So yes, they go into telemetry, and I actually prefer this, honestly, because once the rocket gets so far away, all we get on our end is just a little dot, and eventually it goes over the horizon. You can no longer see it. So we're coming up on the payload fairing jettison, which is 246 seconds into flight. And we're currently at 240. So we're hoping this is relative data. So they actually are pulling real-time data from the vehicle and giving us the live telemetry. So you can tell it's already at coming up on 2,500 meters per second. Okay, it sounds like they have good payload fairing jettison. So the payload or the fairings have jettisoned while the first stage is burning. So that's similar to how the Atlas V does it, which is a little different. It kind of makes sense to get rid of it as soon as possible. The center core also burns a little bit longer than, say, the Falcon 9. The Falcon 9 ditches its fairing during the second stage burn. Same with the Electron rocket. That's definitely the way I'm a little more used to. I'm going to move my face here so you guys can see that data. I apologize. Yeah, which is awesome. So, so yeah, so this is the LE7 engine, technically the LE7A, so the upgraded LE7 engine. Yeah, which is super cool. So it's still cruising, and notice it's basically going to be, it's not going to be raising in altitude too much, because remember, to get to space you go up. You can go to space just by going straight up 100 kilometers, and technically you will have crossed the Kármán line. But if you just go straight up and you turn off your engine, or you let go of a ladder, you're not just going to float off. You're going to start falling right back down to Earth. Not exactly what you're intending to do if you're trying to stay in orbit, if you're trying to get off to the moon or Mars or wherever your destination may be. So in order to stay in space, you have to go sideways extremely fast. You have to go about 10 times faster than a bullet. It's about 28,000 kilometers an hour, about 17,000 miles an hour. You have to be absolutely screaming horizontally. So that's, and that's kind of the whole point of orbit, is that you're basically going sideways so fast that you never end up hitting the horizon. So think about, if you were on top of a tall mountain and you threw a football or a ball or a baseball or insert sport. So you threw a sport ball off of that mountain, of course, or even if you just throw it in general, you'll throw it, but gravity takes over and it hits the ground pretty quickly. Now, of course, something like a bullet can go a lot further because it can get that far before gravity takes its toll and brings it down to Earth, and the atmosphere also slows it down too. Now, if you do that experiment up in space where there's no atmosphere to slow you down, even a bullet isn't going nearly fast enough. It'll go like this, but it'll eventually, gravity will succumb and its arc will end up intercepting with Earth, right? Now, to stay in space, you have to go fast enough that your arc never hits the Earth. And that's all orbit is literally just your trajectory, your ballistic trajectory just misses Earth. It's beyond the horizon. And it just keeps doing that over and over and over and over, which is super, super cool. Yeah, so we're working on a better internet plant data here for you guys. So bear with me for just a second. And there is the second stage ignition. And again, this second stage is even more efficient than that first stage at 447 seconds. And again, it is the expander bleed cycle, which is awesome. That's true. We could try to do a KSP version after this stream. I would be up for that, because if we get better internet, I think I owe you guys something better than what I just gave you guys. I owe you a much better stream. Again, tomorrow I will make sure. I had no choice. Trust me. I've been on phone calls with which is an awesome internet service provider, by the way. It is a municipality, which is why I'm able to get 10 gig internet. It's just that, again, kind of bleeding edge technology. It's not as tried and true as my old ONT is, like a gigabit line. So 10 gig is awesome, but it's not working right now at this exact moment. Oh. Sweet. It's continuing to go. This is great. It takes approximately 7 kilometers per second to get into space. That's 7,000 meters per second. That's when you get into orbit. So it's almost at orbital speeds already. And this engine is very low thrust. So the first stage had to loft it up a decent amount. And then, yeah, so we'll see this thing continue to burn for quite a while. If I remember right, the second stage actually burns for a long time. Okay, I'm working on a different data here. So real quick, there's going to be a little bit of a switch over. So you're going to drop me for a second, but it will be better in just a minute. I'll let you guys know when. And then I'll get to your guys' questions too. DJ Straylight, unfortunately, it's my ONT isn't, I don't think, overheating. It only lasts about 5 minutes before it junks out. I think there's something just full-blown bad with it. Full-blown bad ONT. Naughty ONT. Yeah. Give me 1 second here, guys. We'll get this internet up a little. And again, tomorrow I will be streaming. Tomorrow I will have the ONT fixed. Internet will be back to normal. much more stable. This new studio hopefully will finally pay dividends as being an upgrade instead of some kind of torturous environment for me to swear to as soon as the stream goes off. But yeah, let me answer a few of you guys' questions here. Even though we're still having some problems, hopefully you guys can hear me. All right, so again, thanks to Epic Space Models for the awesome membership. Bennett, yes, I'm sorry about that. Cardinals, Slinky, I think I'll step outside my comfort zone and cover a new launch segment. Because not only now, see, like I probably could have focused on like learning a little bit more if I didn't have technical issues, but then technical issues and a new launch provider and a new system that I know almost nothing about. Maybe I'll just get my, maybe I'll just get 1 gig ONT tomorrow instead of a 10 gig if it's more reliable. That's true. Yeah, Casper, I guess we're talking about, in Discord, we have some pretty, Ozzy, Maleficent in our Discord asks, so if you are on the ISS and you shoot a bullet forwards, will it come back and hit you from behind? Basically, yeah. Ignoring orbital precession, yes, it pretty much would, which is crazy. Unless, of course, as Casper Stanley mentions, if you don't shoot it like down or up. But yeah, if you shoot it straight prograde, well, the difference though is that it would raise its apogee, it would raise its highest point. So it's going to take longer for it to get back to that point. So it wouldn't actually hit you. You would end up being in a different place by the time it got back to that point. So it would never actually hit you in that case, but still. All right, so let's answer a few more. Arthur, it wouldn't be a Tim stream without it starting with all the problems. I promise that I've done so many things in the back end to just make it so I never have to touch it again, because that's the problem is I'm normally always dinking with stuff, right? I'm always in here just dinking on things, trying to do things last minute. And for once, I'm like, you know what? This is what the studio space is. It's going to be permanently set up, just ready to go, turn it on, walk in the room, blah, 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 and we're good to go. And yeah, that's, of course, not what we have. Yet, but it will be. I promise. This will be a good upgrade for me and you as the audience, hopefully, too. So look at that beautiful launch site. I would love to see this rocket fly sometime. I just want to go to Japan. Please, if you work for Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, please invite me to the next launch of the H-2A. I would love to see it in person. Please. Please take a look at the movie about the Emirates Mars mission by the UAE. I would love to take a look at this. I would love it. Oh, we actually get it. I will tell you guys what they're talking about. But yeah, this is the Hope probe. That's funny because the thing they had on there doesn't look like the Hope probe. The Hope probe has 3 solar panels sticking out. Yeah. So their patch might have been the wrong one or something, but nice. Confused Nyan in our Discord was born there. Dang. All right. Again, if you happen to work for JAXA or Mitsubishi Heavy Industries or someone that has anything to do with the H-2A, please let me come and see a rocket launch. It would be awesome. Just make sure I have decent internet, and I'll try to do the rest. And you can teach me about your rocket, and I can end up enjoying it and streaming it more comfortably. Okay, Kiwi, thank you for your membership. Flip Fanham, move less equals less data equals happy time. You're right. Maybe I'll just stay like this so that there's really doesn't take much data to do anything because it's only having to compress a few more pixels. So if I don't move, maybe the stream will end up being a lot better and it won't have to do nearly as much compression and it'll be, yeah. Maybe not the worst idea I've ever heard, to be honest. Ocean Breeze. Okay, I want to hear more about this 10 gigabit line. Is it a business line for a residence? Which provider even supports something like that? Insane. So Ocean Breeze, I am on a municipality. It's a municipality called Cedar Falls Utilities, and they upgraded to 10 gig last year. They got 1 gig online. So this is Iowa. Iowa is apparently where the internet exists and where the internet normally lives, except for right now. Don't keep that in mind. It has nothing to do with the municipality. Again, the service is absolutely incredible normally, but again, brand new box has some issues, I guess. So they're going to be replacing it. But yeah, they made it so they upgraded all their systems to be able to handle 10 gig already, which is maybe one of like 4 or 5 cities in the world that's sitting on 10 gig that's capable of running to houses and businesses. Every house in the entire is capable of getting a 10 gig line, which is insane. And guess how much that 10 gig line is for a resident? The 10 gig line for 10 gigs of internet for a person is $110 a month. That's unbelievable. Like that's insane. That's utterly bonkers. But again, don't judge it right now. It's not the ISP's fault. It's just the box that converts it from fiber into Ethernet. So yeah, fun times. Hey, there she is. There we go. These are the shots that I wanted to see. Maybe it does only have 2 solar panels. I thought it had 3. I watched an animation where it had 3. I mean, I suppose I would hope that their patch would be right, but that's weird. Gosh, can you imagine being the driver of that? Being like, yeah, let's not. So yeah, there you go. Think about it. Go Japan. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Innocent Raptor box acting up. Shouldn't have bragged so much in OLF or the Degrees Future about the internet. Tim, we love your streams, even in potato quality, watching on a potato. You're right. I had to flex on air the other day when I pulled up speed test and it showed 7 gigs down and 7 gigs up. And I was like, highs, and then they were very jealous. And right now, they would be they'd be laughing at me. They're all laughing at you. Cardinal Slinky Ocean. He talked about it on the OLF podcast. It's the local municipality. Oh yeah, I see. You're answering Oceans. Super sweet. Imagine that you're a trooper to do this on a hotspot. Trooper or an idiot. I can't tell which one. Probably a bit of both. But thank you, Yusef. Tim, thanks for all you do. I say that every time I listen to Moon Dance, I get the chills. That's awesome. For some reason, it gives me hopes for the human race. Beyond my intention for a song, but thank you so much. I do... You know what I'm thinking about doing? So what you guys can't see behind me is a decent amount more studio space. It's about twice as big as this room here. And I'm thinking about actually like making the back half all music. And occasionally where I'm just playing either cover songs or playing, I don't know, which I think would be fun because music has always been actually a really big part of my life. But then, you know, as you get busy with other work things and making YouTube videos, the music stuff just kind of slows down. So maybe I will do that. Next slide. Renau, good luck to all Mars missions, especially the first timers like UAE and China. Has JAXA ever launched anything to Mars? You know what? That's a great question. I don't actually remember. Hold on. All missions to Mars. Wikipedia has there haven't been that many, which is crazy. List of missions to Mars. Most are, of course, the United States and the Soviet Union. Japan had ISAS in 98, National Research Organization. It ran out of fuel before reaching Mars, so it hasn't been there yet. ESA's, of course, sent a few as well. ISRO did, but you know what? Japan's never actually got anything to Mars. That's too bad. Yeah, it happens. I have a video recently about the Mars Climate Orbiter too, which happened in that same launch transfer window with the Mars Climate Orbiter. If you guys have ever heard that classic, that when NASA made an error, with the converting from metric to English, and I always thought I kind of knew the story of how that turned out, like why they converted or what the conversion error was. I had no idea what the actual root cause is and how they figured it out and what actually ended up happening. Definitely watch my video about Definitely watch that video about the Mars Climate Orbiter. I think it's English versus metric or something. The time that NASA lost a multi-million dollar, like a $240 million probe to Mars. It's honestly, like, I learned a lot making that video, and that's always how I know I'm doing my job. Is if I make a video and I didn't learn anything, then I didn't do enough research, because there's always stuff to learn. And I personally love all the little rabbit holes when doing research, because it ends up teaching you a lot more and giving you more appreciation for all the tiny little things. Like, here, I'll bring this back up because they're showing some cool stuff, ISO grid type stuff. But you always end up appreciating science and engineering decisions that these people make, that these scientists and engineers end up making, and it's really, really exciting stuff. And yeah, I don't know, it just gives me more and more of an appreciation for people that have a proper expertise in a field, and it just makes you realize how like, it's the Dunning-Kruger effect almost, of how little you actually know. Or for me, like, that realization that I know nothing about this. And, I thought I might know a lot about it. And then you like read up on it, like, people have studied this stuff for their whole life, and it's just really, really cool. So that's always kind of something that I strive to do, is bring that to light and make, oh, that is beautiful. I love it. Sorry, I'm getting, I know they upgraded, the inner stage got upgraded. It used to have like 1,000 parts for the inner stage, because it was made out of like smaller chunks, of aluminum, and then they switched it out to carbon composite and made it down to like 140 pieces was all that made up the interstage after that. But it just still makes you think something as simple as an interstage still having 140 parts just kind of still seems nuts to me. So, yeah. So there we go. Hold on. Let's see here. Renaud, so thank you. Cardinal Slinky, that section you did on why don't they just Kerbal the fuel tanks was good coverage, especially the Saturn 1B part. Thank you for that, Cardinal Slinky. I really appreciate that. I still don't know if I exactly had the answer perfectly right or not, but there's always a lot of fun. Again, a lot of fun design and for every single aspect of rockets and spaceflight. It's just absolutely fascinating to me. Again, how much thought has to go into all this stuff. Oh, that's a beautiful engine. Sorry, I'm getting like lost in the... someday I want to assemble a rocket engine like that. That'd be so fun. I used to work on cars a lot when I was younger. Tuning cars. I love turbochargers. And basically a rocket engine looks and acts similar to a giant turbocharger. Or at least the turbo pump does. Turbo. It's because the turbine... obviously spins a pump in a very similar manner to a car. Actually, you're seeing it right there. That's very, very similar to a turbocharger in a car. But yeah, I don't know. I've always had a fascination for that. It'd be really fun to build someday. But all right. So, thank you very much, Cardinal Slinky. Strax, been my B-Day today, and I got a Buran... What are you talking... Siri? Strax. Been my B-Day today, and I got Buran thermal tiles. Okay, now I'm jealous. Now I want that. Please, 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 Strax, share them. Oh, that's awesome, Strax. Thank you so much for letting me know, and happy birthday. Everyone say happy birthday to Strax, and let him know how jealous you are of their Buran thermal tiles. The random tube, I got my first Celestron telescope for my dad as a gift for having good percentage in 10th grade. It's a pretty big deal here. Huge fan, love from India. That is awesome. Congrats on working hard and getting your first telescope. That's awesome, the random tube. Hopefully, I don't know if you're in a place where you can view the comet, but if you can, definitely check it out. Right now, it's a great time in the northern hemisphere to be able to see Jupiter and Saturn. I hope you can point at Saturn and see Saturn's rings with your own eyes. There is something about seeing Saturn's rings with your own eyeballs through the glass of a telescope where there's no electronics that is honestly absolutely amazing. Okay, hang on. I'm going to try switching data here. But yeah, that is super cool, Strax, or the random tube. I hope that you end up having a lot of fun and learning a lot with your telescope. All right, so real quick, I'm going to try switch. So give me a second. I apologize if the stream cuts. I'm going to be talking nice and slow for a second, just in case it is extra bad for 1 second. So bear with me for just a quick moment. as I try switching. Oh, it looks like that's not going to be doing anything for me either. The only other thing I can do is I can reset. I'm gonna let this go for just a second, and I will be right back, guys. And yes, I know you can still hear me. Okay, so what I'm going to be trying to do here, this might be a huge mistake, but if I restart my my ONT, which is the router, it gives me about 5 to 10 minutes of good internet, and then it tends to go right back to Turd Town. So we're going to see here, after it restarts, I'm going to switch over to that and see if it's better or not. That's not a bad idea. I will, yeah, and actually, since they're just showing us this stuff anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and dumb that down so we're not chewing up our uplink data on a downlink. And actually, we don't even need that anymore. Let's just keep answering guys' questions. And if I want to, we can play some Kerbal, and I'll try to make it up for you once the data seems to be a little bit more stable here. So again, thank you guys so much for bearing with me with just nightmares. This is just the nightmare time, but it looks like right now we probably do have a relatively stable connection. I'm just going to do a quick speed test, see how we're doing. Actually, here I can show you guys. Let's see if I can show you guys. Yep, right now it's going to be great. We're going to have a great time here for just a second. But here, take a look at the results of this. This is honestly insane. Yep, that's what happens when I restart. And now the internet's going. Oh, of course. As I say that, that's even worse, isn't it? That's even worse. Still just dropping frames. No, maybe not. Maybe it's nice and stable. But look at that. See, the potential is real. The potential is so real. But, yeah, unfortunately, that's, it only lasts a little bit before it starts going super wonky. But we'll see. We'll try using it as long as we can right now. But if you guys want, I'll try and recreate this in Kerbal Space Program real quick. Oh, there it goes again. It's already back to Turd Town. How is that possible? I need to get that ONT replaced. But I'm just going to, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go ahead and answer the rest of your guys' questions. And then I'm probably just going to get out of here, honestly, because I feel like it's just not stable enough. And I'd rather just save up my good vibes and good juju for a better stream without issues plaguing it. So let's see here. So Rough Riders Show, when's the next pilot stream, Tim? Thank you. Rough Riders, I owe pilots a little bit better one because we had that exact problem cropping up during the pilot stream with the ONT. So I'll be doing a longer stream for you guys here. Once that is fixed, probably this week. Try cleaning the fiber cable with some Windex at this point, whatever. But yeah, the next pilot stream, I'll probably try to squeeze one in again this week, but we usually do them monthly, but we'll probably do a pilots, commanders, mission director stream here before that. So stand by, pay attention to Patreon, and we'll get you guys the new link when we get everything all figured out. I really, really, really hope that tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. to noon that the internet people fix what I have going on before the SpaceX stream, because I can't do this 2 days in a row. I will cry. Even my mom is texting me right now saying video is still lagging. I know. I'm looking at all the numbers right here. I'm fully aware of the precarious situation I am in, and I have zero control over it, which is just the most frustrating thing. But yeah. Switch back over to this. It's not going to be that stable, but okay. So, Liquid Chris. So are you full-time in Florida now? No, Liquid Chris. I am actually still in Iowa, and I decided to keep my roots in Iowa And then eventually I'll probably just try someday, eventually after the pandemic is under control, I'll look at trying to find some kind of like more of just a smaller condo space, something to keep gear and just kind of have a presence in Florida and spend a lot more time in Florida. But I don't know, for something about the pandemic too made me appreciate being close to home and being close to family and yeah, just kind of almost help tweak and reevaluate what is important. And Florida and spaceflight is extremely important. It's like my ultimate dream, ultimate passion. But at the same time, yeah, I love being around my friends and family a lot. And so for now, I'm kind of keeping my roots in Iowa, and I'll be down in Florida in a little bit for as soon as it's like normal-ish again. All right, so let's see here. Matthew Cable and Bob Plant, thanks for the membership. Epic Space Models, hey, come and hang out in Japan. There's a life-size replica of the ISS Kibo module at the, I have never know how to say that, the Tsukuba Space Center. Seriously, please, take me to Japan. That's all I want. I want someone to show me around, show me the beautiful countryside, someone that knows the language and can help me get around and have fun. I would absolutely love that. It'd be awesome. Miori, hey, is shipping to Finland available in your store? I tried to buy the full flow stage combustion cycle shirt, but I can't buy it for some reason. It should be available. We do international shipping, but we are currently at this moment working on a better international shipping solution where we will have a separate total distribution center in Europe. That is in the works as we speak. Our goal is to have it up and running smoothly well before the holiday season. So because I know that shipping has gone up even more because of the pandemic, but shipping to Europe has always been insane. Shipping internationally is just crazy. Like where the shipping is more expensive than the shirt. And I even discount it. Like sometimes on certain shipments and certain things, we'll lose money on a shirt because we discount it so much to try to make it so you're not paying like $40 or $50 for shipping because it's just insane and it takes forever and the tracking is terrible. We're aware of all the stuff. It really sucks. We're really trying to make a better solution by having a separate distribution center, but it's just one of those things that's always been working on in the background and is really actually difficult to do. Logistics, not my forte. So if you can wait until like the end of the year, hopefully it'll be a lot easier and a lot better deal for you to end up buying on the store. So, W4L, thanks for the membership. Wayne Jr. Hedrick, thank you so much. Arvid, how's it going? Take my money and bribe your ISP for a better broadband connection. I can't. They're apologizing profusely that this new unit, it's again brand new, fresh out of the box. They're just like apologizing over and over, which I feel like, first off, what are the odds that you can just call someone and they're just, hey, yeah, oh, so sorry, like they just know and they care. So they're getting, they just don't have techs out on the weekends. But yeah, I didn't get it isolated to the ONT. Ben Steinman and I, my friend that helps me with everything internet, he's an internet guru. We were just constantly trying to figure out and isolate the problem. And then we figured out like today that it is indeed the ONT. So that's when I got the internet provider involved. So it will be better tomorrow. Fingers triple crossed, all of the fingers crossed. So again, sorry that this stream is still going to be laggy. Hopefully the audio is okay, and we're just going to have an audio stream for you guys, basically, with a couple potato images in between. I apologize, but it'll get better, I promise. Okay, let's see. Ground-based space. Watch the launch. Just watch the. Oh, and Jamie Cole, thank you so much. Oh, hang on, I missed a whole bunch. Sorry about that. Oh no. Okay, so Cardinal, Ken Shun Huang had a good point. Remember to check pointy end up. I totally forgot. I was so fluttered that I never checked if the pointy end up was up and the flamey end was down. How did they do it without me? Is it all just a gimmick that I do? What is life? Thank you, Cardinal Slinky, for hanging out and reminding me of my failure. Apollo either the Apollo the Dolo or Apollo the Doyo or Apoyo the Doyo, depending on, I don't know. I don't know. Thank you for the membership. Emperor Billy Ritchie, any plans on going to Kazakhstan in the future? That is okay, Japan's up here. Kazakhstan's actually like way up here for me. I really, really, really want to see like the Cosmodrome and all the launch sites. And what I want more than anything, and I'm trying to get. Well, my friend, we're equally trying to get each other to do this, but my friend Anwar Beck is from Kazakhstan, and he is working on getting me there. But we're working on trying to get permissions because I want to see the Buran orbiters, and my goal someday would be to try to get them like saved before that building falls down, like it did with the one Buran that fell, or that the only Buran that flew. There was only one Buran orbiter that flew, and unfortunately, the hangar that it was in collapsed, destroying it, and the Energia rocket that it was attached to. And I don't want that to happen. There's 2 other orbiters sitting right now, and I want to see those with my own eyes, and I would love to go there, witness it, hang out, and try and work on some kind of campaign or something to rescue them. Unfortunately, the building is also in extreme disrepair, so I think getting them out of there without having the building fallen would probably be a challenge. But that is a life goal of mine. So someday maybe we'll do like a Kickstarter or something, or GoFundMe to save the Burans. If you guys think that's a good idea, let me know. That would be pretty awesome. Yeah, Henning. Tim, what about pointing it up? Is it okay? It turns out that it was okay, and I'm so sorry. Thank you, Henning. I appreciate it. And Johnny B, Starship to Mars will happen even if it's on Elon time. It'll be amazing. No, of course, and I fully believe. I mean, I know Starship or a Starship-like vehicle will make it to Mars with humans on board in my lifetime. Like that is absolutely a certainty. In the same way that. I also believe that EVs and sustainable energy is a certainty as well. It's just sometimes you got to really move the bar in order to get people to start listening and paying attention. But it is absolutely happening. Starship is making... I know it doesn't seem like Starship's making that much progress because they're constantly just doing these small test articles and big test articles and big booms of those test articles. But you learn a lot from those, and the engines are maturing an insane amount since last year. When Starhopper flew, the engine was very, very new, the Raptor engine. Now they're beyond serial number 30. They're doing tests daily on it, pushing it even further than before, breaking like reliability and runtime records, I think, left and right, because people are hearing it run for super long durations. There's people that track all this stuff, and man, I would just absolutely... I can't wait to see multiple Raptors on a Starship vehicle and start seeing them push that design further and further. It's hard to guess when things will go right because of just the rapid pace that they're going at. There might be a lot of booms before it actually works out. But at the same time, I definitely think Starship will come together really quickly compared to... I don't know about compared to anything, I guess, but it'll come together. It'll definitely come together. I think I still think that we'll hopefully see it go orbital by the end of 2021. That's still my current guess. If it goes orbital this year, I will pull a Peter Beck and I will eat my hat. Yes, and OZ, you're right. There is RCS integrated into the nose cones for Starship, which is super cool. Tom Aspland, Jim, I'm Tim, but thank you. Thanks for all your help. Thank you so much. I appreciate the tip for me, and some money for me and some money for the internet service provider. Don't worry. Again, they will take care of it. This will all be better, hopefully by tomorrow, unless you have to like run a new line or something to the office here, but who knows? Kenneth Moyer, if you throw a baseball, shoot a cannonball, or drop a rock all parallel to the horizon, they will pass the tangent of the Earth at the same time. This is true. This is absolutely true, which is so cool. I just think, yeah, that's one of those things that when you learn that, it's pretty fascinating because, gravity's pulling them down at the same time. So the only thing they're gaining is horizontal velocity. All of them are going to be falling at the same rate. So pretty cool. Thank you, Kenneth. Philip, bind the fiber in multiple LTEs using SW-WAN equals solved. The problem is I have to have a specific encoder, and I will do this once I get Starlink, which I am a beta tester for, hopefully this year. I will be bonding, hopefully, the service. But the problem with video is you have to have it encoded before you send it through data. which is actually a whole nother problem because otherwise all the bits get scrambled up between the different, signal streams, and YouTube can't put it back together. So it has to be encoded. So I can't just use like a standard bonded router in order to send video up. It has to be a dedicated encoded. It's a whole different thing. And I have a unit like that. I have a live view unit that we can do bonded internet and stuff like that, which is very slick. It's great, but that's currently in Boca Chica, so I can do live streams for you guys of Starship testing and development. So maybe I'll have to get another one. I'll maybe find another solution or something that allows us to do bonded data streams, but it might be one thing at a time. I'm just trying to make a reliable system first and then add redundancy on top of that. But someday. I appreciate that though. Cardinal, make OLF a band. You know, Joe's doing that guitar thing. Yeah, Joe, all of us play guitar. Joe, Ben, and I all play guitar. I think I'm the only one that plays drums. Drums is actually my original and best instrument, probably. I like guitar. It's hard to write a song on drums, so I've always I've always loved drums, and I finally am back to playing drums when I have spare time, which is not very often. But someday I'll play a song and put it in Discord for you guys or something. Discord standby. Maybe I'll upload a song, a very difficult song. It's ridiculous math rock song where no measure is basically ever the same, because that's the type of stuff that I love. I love it. So, yeah. Johan says, thanks for trying. Bragging always brings bad luck. Have another beer from Norway. Thank you, Johan. I really appreciate that. The Random Tube, thanks for the membership. Jimmy Cole, thank you. Ground-based space, watch the launch, just watch the ISS go by and can see Mars in the night sky. What an awesome night for space. That is awesome. That is my type of night. That is super cool. What a beautiful night. I really appreciate that, ground-based space. And Jorge says, hi, Tim. Have you heard about Zero to Infinity, a Spanish space company that will use balloons and a rocket to get into orbit? Please say hi to your Bolivian fans. Always good to see you. Hello to my fans in Bolivia. If there are more than just Jorge there, thank you so much for tuning in. And yes, I am familiar with Zero to Infinity. They're basically making a donut inside of a donut, or a muffin inside of a donut is their concept, and they pull it up by a balloon. So it's basically like asparagus staging. They're using fuel crossfeed to basically, like run all the engines at all times, which is really cool. And then, so that way they're maximizing like your thrust to weight ratio. Then you ditch the stage, ditch the engines. It's a really cool system. Let's see. Yeah, I'll respond to you guys there in Discord in a little bit. Laia Holt, Perseverance rover will launch in less than 2 weeks. Detailed launch preview when? This week, my friends. I shot my first video yesterday in the studio, shooting in 6K. This camera, we have a different studio camera and a different live stream camera. So this camera is actually in 4K, but we dumb it down to 1080 for YouTube. Then over back in the back side of the studio, there is a 6K camera. We're shooting in 6K, still editing in a 4K timeline, but that way we can do punches in. It'll stay super crisp. It'll be awesome. I know here on YouTube, this still looks a little bit dark. It's not exactly the best image on this camera. The other image is awesome. Like we're still tuning the studio, still tuning the lights. It'll be really, really, really good looking, hopefully really soon. So iterative improvements. You'll see the background change out, a lot of elements changing in the background to be more fun to look at and hang out in. And hopefully you guys enjoy all that stuff. I am just excited to have enough space to be able to kind of work around it and do fun stuff with it. So yeah, so stay tuned. Stay tuned. And yeah, Perseverance. We will have an awesome video. We're going to be comparing Perseverance to Curiosity, because although they look very similar, I had that question, like, what was the point of Perseverance if Curiosity is like the same rover? There's a lot of awesome stuff on Perseverance. So we do basically Perseverance versus Curiosity video and show you what all is new. It's going to be awesome. Wang Jack, hey Tim, are you going to cover the launch of the Chinese Mars mission? I need to find out when it is, and I better learn way more about that, but I would love to, yeah. Depending on how it works out, I plan to do that. Let's do it. We need to start covering everybody. Ground-based space YouTubers to save the run. I'm in. Yes, we need you. We need everybody. We need you guys in. Rexity, consider this the first donation for the petition to save the run orbiters. That's awesome. Yes, let's do it. Luke Priel, hey Tim, just made it. Did I miss anything? Yes, you've missed my horrible live coverage because I've had, for the millionth time, I probably have to keep telling you guys this, but I have it feels like I have a problem in my being, but my internet is the ONT, the box that takes fiber optic and turns it into 10 gig internet, is dying. And the medics can't get here until tomorrow. So tomorrow, my internet service provider will probably be either replacing that box or fixing it. And that will solve all of the problems in the world in this brand new studio, sitting on, again, 10 gig internet. Yeah, it'll be great. Let's see. Daylight Con. Hey, Tim, can we go for launch with the collab? Maybe someday. I can't make promises. I can't even promise the videos that I'm currently working on because they keep getting pushed out for other videos. We've been working on 2 videos for like a long time. Oh, it's launching on Thursday. We can make that happen. We can do that. But yeah, if you guys want to hang out in our Discord channel, get some fun previews of other things, get some behind the scenes access to the studio build out, to scripting and editing, they're going to be seeing a preview of the dialogue cut this evening, to the Perseverance versus Mars rover versus Curiosity. Yeah, if you want to join our Discord channel, consider becoming a Patreon member by going to patreon.com/everydayastronaut. That's for, that's for mission specialists and above. I really appreciate you guys, everyone that's in here, and for your patience, and especially all you tuning in right now, having patience with this terrible stream today. Tomorrow will be better, I promise. But also, like I said, this is going to be the year of me wearing this shirt a lot because there's so many Mars missions, and that's extremely exciting to me. But again, this shirt in particular is a new shirt with Future Martian Society. If you guys want your own Future Martian Society shirt, go on over to shop.everydayastronaut.com or everydayastronaut.com/shop. But yeah, shop.everydayastronaut.com. And then, yeah, you can find some stuff. And if you work in the aerospace industry, I do give you guys some discount here. So you just click on a shirt and you can find a link here. It'll shoot you a little thing and you have to kind of pass this like smell test basically of your aerospace industry credentials basically. And then, then we'll send you a code for 25% off shirts, which is my thank you to you for making awesome stuff happen and inspiring humans to get out there, making us multiplanetary someday and helping us just explore the cosmos that we live in. I wouldn't have a career in getting people excited about spaceflight if there wasn't people making cool stuff happen in space. So that is you guys, and that is my thank you to you. So thank you guys so much for your support there. But yeah, shop.everydayastronaut.com. Of course, and we do have the full flow stage combustion cycle shirts back in stock as well. They keep going in and out of stock. We had some issues recently whenever this guy wears the shirt in public, it seems like we sell out right away. But also our suppliers, it's kind of been a thing. So thanks, pandemic. Hopefully, it's been a weird time for a lot of people with a lot of things, but yeah, we're trying to take care of you guys as best as we can. So thank you again for your support. Let me know if you guys, what you want me to cover tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow everything will all be fixed, like I said. I just wanted to thank you guys all for watching and hanging out. It really means a lot that you stuck with me despite potato stream. I know. I'm sorry. So many issues. But I love you guys, and thank you so much for hanging out. Yeah. That's going to be it for me. I'm going to sit here and work on trying to figure out what's going on and then fix the dialogue cut and not fix it, but get that posted up for Discord. So Discord, get ready, my friends. You're going to see more of my face tonight. So yeah. All right. That's going to do it for me. I'm Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut, bringing space down to Earth for everyday people. Bye, everybody. We will see you tomorrow with a much better stream. Peace.